today our CBI Offroad Fab F-150 bed rack came in through FedEx. So we're going to get this thing installed in my F-150 FX4, and then we're going to put the Roofnest Condor 2 XL on top. So stay with me as we unbox. The spray foam's off. I did get these powder coated, so it looks really, really good with everything in there. Let me get all the pieces out and start looking at those. So now that we have everything completely unboxed, we've got a left side, right side parts. We've got 2 stabilizers, 3 of the cross beams, and we've got the locks to get it locked down. So now is the fun part of installing. Parts included: washers for all the bolts. We've got the shorter bolts for the equipment, the cross rails and everything. We've got the bolts for the actual side panels with a larger size washer, and then we've got nuts that are self-locking for all of them. So those are the pieces and parts included. We're going to get these washers on all the bolts. All right, so now we have the large washers on the main mounting bolts. We have washers on all of the cross member and the stabilizer bolts. Before we get this CBI off-road bed rack in the truck, I just want to go over a few extra things. The larger main mounting bolts are a 7/32 Allen head, so we're going to be using that on the Milwaukee M18. Hopefully I don't strip these out, because 9 times out of 10, anytime I mess with Allen heads with these flathead washers, I typically end up trying to strip something out. So I'm going to try to take it nice and easy, but get these down to a torque value that is somewhat good. All of the cross member Allen heads are going to be that 3/16. Everything has a washer on it. On top of that, each one of the main frame mounting bolts are going to a nut plated bar that is going to go under the lip of the truck. The main thing that we have to remember is that the long side goes on the bottom. So when they go on, the top's going to capture that lip on the underside of the truck. The long side is going to press up against the bottom side of the rail to give it that stability. This rack system ultimately has a approximately 900-pound static load. So we're definitely going to have the weight capacity when it comes to the Roofnest Condor rooftop tent. So let's get started on the actual install with my little helper elf. One thing to think about before you go to install this is, if you get this powder coated like we did, you should probably run a bolt through the capture, the lock nuts, to clear out any of that excessive powder coating to make sure that they're the right size, or run the risk of it being a little bit more difficult than what it needs to be. All right. All right. And we'll make sure that we get this locked in there correctly so that I'm not marring these any more than I have to. And we'll call that. I didn't see torque values on their website, but that looks like it'll work. And we'll just go down in a straight line. Short one on top. Get those started. And the 5th or 6th time doing this, it gets easier. All right. right.
Perfect.
Seems to be captured. Good capture. All right, good capture. Good capture, good capture. Straight side goes towards the front of the truck.
Yep.
All right. We're gonna line this right.
That's what we've been wanting.
Yep, that's what we want. Right at that gap. All right. Get those. 2 here. 2 there. We'll put 2 down there. All right, we need to have this flat lined up with the back of the truck. Short side on the top. Let's start with the first bar closest to the cab and move back. So what we'll do, it lines up with 4 holes up here. Pretty perfectly. Here you go. Drop them down.
Okay.
Back up. We'll get these finger tight first. Now we'll trade back off for that 3/16 for these smaller bolts. All right. We'll use this to capture the nut at the bottom. And then those ones are quite a bit down. Yep. Let's put it back on. Come on. Okay. Let's get 4 more screws for each side. Put them in diagonally so that they hold well. And then we'll get another 4. Drop those down. And then we need 8 of these. So the last thing that we need to do is install the cross members. There's really no particular order as to when you install these, but they go in the front, and it seems best to do it after you've done all of the crossbars, in my opinion. So we'll get these knocked down. And that one's in. Now we just got one more to do. Okay, this thing slides like butter.
All the way?
Yep, we have to get it down to this first bracket. Ready? Start another 2 on this side. The back. Alright, just one has to go over. Ready?
On this side?
Yep.
Okay.
Alright. Alright. Ready? Just pass it. There we go. And I'm going to get one more over back here. Alright. And then I'll do the same thing on this side. Ready? Well, if I would have known it was that easy, we would have slid it the whole way. All right.
Okay. Well.
All right. Now. There's not a whole lot of thread going down through this. That one's almost flush. And I don't want to mess with that aluminum T-bracket. No, wait, mess with it. All right. All right. So for the middle crossbar, I'm adding just a little bit of extra security by also putting one T-bracket in through the CBI crossbar, and then I'm gonna hold this down and zip that up. What this will do is allow one more tension point on this T-bar while giving me something that I can hook gear into at a later point in time. So one thing that I'm not feeling 100% is that some of these are not even to the nylon locker. So on the outsides, I'm going to increase the length, and I'm going to put longer bolts on those T-brackets before I go ahead and put anything, put the end caps on. The difference in length is quite significant, so hopefully it'll all work the same. Still M8 by 120, 1.25. All right. Let's try to get these a little bit. Let's try to get these a little bit closer. All right. Try to get that at least flush. I think that that's not going anywhere. Don't know if I had to do that. I think that having 1.5 inches of threads hanging out is a little excessive, but almost having no threads hanging out and being flush mounted didn't make me feel amazing. I might be just paranoid. Now, I'm going to do that on the other 4 sides. Longer screws installed, you can see that they definitely hang down a lot more. I was able to get all of the bolts that were shipped with the roof nest at least flush with the nylon, but the 4 that I bought that were about 1.5 inches longer all show a good sign. I only did the 4 on the outside, thinking that torquing that keeps it from sliding back and forth in the event that anything did come loose. Not that I think anything will come loose. But those are 2 additional here and here. Then even the instructions recommend, typically it's just front and back. So I feel like I've over secured my roof nest on top of the CBI Offroad Fab bed rack with the Roofnest Condor 2 extra large air up top. We're going to do the initial opening of the tent on the bed rack on the truck. Let's have fun. All right, we're just going to lift it up and let it do its job. All right, we're just going to lift it up and let it do its job. All right, we're just going to lift it up and let it do do its job. Has a little bit of fully extended. Might help. Pull it. I don't like that it's wrapped around there. All right. That's how you close it. First thing we have to do is pull out the nice. Has a little bit of fully extend it. Might help. Pull it. I don't like this wrapped around there. All right. Yeah, shoe rack. I don't have the widest lens, but as you can tell, me laying here on this side, there's still a lot of room. Got the Roofnest quilt, 2 of them, the sheets, the awning poles, a letter from Roofnest. Let's see. Who doesn't love stickers? Yeah. Got Roofnest sticker, Roofnest gold. Established in 2016. For being a soon-to-be 10-year-old company, their product is amazing. Some of the previous reviews that I've seen said that the fabric wasn't as dark as the iCamper, but this is amazing. Like, I don't think that I'd have trouble sleeping through with this at all. The windows on all 2 sides are open right now, and I have plenty of light to do just about anything. So I can't complain with that side of it. One of the key functions that I love about this tent is that it has the light bars, LEDs, on the inside. You can see how they have the mounting tabs for the different pieces, so shoe rack, whatever you want to talk about there. Plus, this is the bedding. You just throw your bedding into this, and it kind of just sits in place. And then you've got the different pieces here. So you've got bright, dim, you've got power, plugs into a USB power pack, and you have LED lights on either side. This is pretty awesome. I cannot complain about this purchase. It has the heat ducts for AC or heat if you got one of the diesel heaters, which eventually I probably will. It has tie tabs for just about everything to open up all the windows. And I mean, I'm only 5'9", but I mean, the roof is way up there. I mean, it has some height to it. Now, this is only the initial unveiling. I just unboxed it, just put it on top of the truck. As you can see, The amount of storage in here is phenomenal. The quilts, everything. I'm loving this purchase. I don't think I could be any more proud of my ability to actually pick a decent tent. So that is the initial. Have not used it. Today is Sunday, December 28th, just after Christmas. And I've got a few camping trips planned, both solo and with my kids. And we're gonna see how this works. There's clearly enough room for my wife, my kids, myself. If I go solo, there's definitely a lot of room in here. So I'm pretty happy with that side of it. Now let's see what it looks like when you put it all down. Pretty sure. That's there. Try to get everything in. All right, well, that didn't take long. That didn't take long at all. Once again, call me paranoid, but for me, Velcro and these little latches just don't seem to be as secure as I think they should be if I'm going off-roading or whatnot. So I just bought a pin, a cotter pin, and a rolling pin. And that should at least keep it closed with a little bit more security. I probably throw a padlock on one side just for my own security, although I think that just increases the time it's going to take to set up. But for initial install, I thought the hardest part was going to be getting the roof nest on top of the CBI Offroad Fab bed rack, but it being 170 pounds, I honestly wasn't as difficult as I thought it was going to be. It ended up being more difficult to keep the tent from sliding around on the bed rack while getting the hardware installed. There were a few pieces that gave me some concern, but overall, I think that I am just a little bit more cautious than most people. Outside of that, this tent has been phenomenal. Tons of space, super easy to install. I think I went overboard with my install for my own ability to say that I feel safe with it being where it is. But outside of that, it was fairly simple. I spent an hour and a half to 2 hours putting the CBI Offroad Fab bed rack in, and that was while teaching my 12-year-old son how to do it. And then my wife and I lifted this on top, and I was able to get the hardware and everything mounted down, and we, minus the trip to the hardware store to get a little bit longer screws, we really only spent about maybe a maximum of 2 hours messing around with that. So combined, I think I did it all in about 3.5, 4 hours with shopping involved. So that's it. The Roofnest Condor 2 XL Air installed on top of the CBI Offroad Fab bed rack. And this is on the 2018 F-150 with the 5.6 foot bed. That's the install. Well, that's the install of the CBI Offroad bed rack for the 5.6 foot bed on a Ford F-150 with the Roofnest Condor 2 XL Air. We got to see both pieces go together. Ultimately, I love the setup. I think that the CBI bed rack is phenomenal. I think it's strong as all get out. The bars up top gave me a little bit of a concern when I couldn't get the factory shipped bolts for the roof nest to go over the entire bar to the point where I could see threads through the other side. So I went and got a little bit longer bolts. I think it's overkill. I think that I'm doing it just because I don't know what safe looks like just yet, but I got that. I also did the center bar. I locked it down with another T-bolt bracket using the factory roof nest equipment that was shipped to me. I was able to put those in those middle pieces as just one extra clamp down of force. So now I have all three crossbars have some sort of clamp down with the T brackets with the roof nest on top. I set it up so that it wasn't going over the back of the bed, but I also made sure that it's not touching the cab at all either. We'll do one more walk around with everything installed, and we'll see how the reviews come after a couple nights up there doing some family and or solo camping. The review video of the roof nest and the CBI coming shortly.